Hi, it's Jessie with Plan with Jessie, and I'm going to do a plan with me today. It's part of a collaboration with a few other planner YouTubers. I will put all of their links in the description. So here's last week's Christmas layout, and I'm going to do another Christmas one this week, but a little different this week. While I am planning, I am going to answer some Christmas related questions. And before I get started, I just want to mention that I am planning in GoodNotes using a PDF planner from BrookBot. And the stickers I'm going to be using are a part of a couple different sets from an Etsy shop called Alakazoo planner stickers. They're actually printable stickers, but they work just as well in a digital format. So that'll be fun to do this week. Santa theme, so it's a lot of Santa, a lot of red and green, obviously very festive for Christmas, which is coming up soon. So I just wanted to point out that I have all these notes on the side here. This was just sort of my digital post-it notes for the week, so I know what I need to remember to mark down. So the first question on the holiday Q&A is, do you open any presents on Christmas Eve? So growing up, my siblings and I used to open presents to each other on Christmas Eve, and sort of keeping that tradition alive now. My daughter opens presents from her cousins on Christmas Eve, and they open presents from her. So we don't really exchange presents among my siblings anymore, just the kids. So that happens on Christmas Eve. Next question is, what holiday traditions are you looking forward to most this year? So my favorite thing is always going around and looking at all the Christmas lights. So we've done that a few times already this year. Hopefully we'll get to see some more before the Christmas season is over. I also really like going to see Santa at the mall and playing in the little snow globe that they have there, and we've done that already as well this year. Okay, next question. Is your Christmas tree real or fake? We have an artificial tree. It's actually pink. My daughter picked it out when she was about 3, so we've had that about 3 years. It's pretty small. It stays in her room. We also have another artificial green one that's like a full-size tree, which we didn't put up this year. Mostly because it has to go in a room with the door closed anyway, because we have 3 cats, and so I hardly ever see it. So it's a lot of work to put it up, and then I never get to appreciate the tree. So I just didn't even bother with it this year. Growing up, we always had real trees. We got a lot of the time ones where they actually dug up the roots and gave it to you with the ball of all the roots and dirt, and then we would replant it. So we actually have a really tall, super tall tree in the front of my mom's yard now that was a Christmas tree probably 15 years ago. So that is a pretty cool tradition that we had when I was growing up. So the next question is, what is your favorite Christmas film? So I would say of all time, it is probably It's a Wonderful Life. And more recently, I watched Elf for the first time probably only 2 years ago. I don't know how I missed it the first time around, but so I really like that one too. It was sort of a funny one, but for all time, I would say It's a Wonderful Life. Where do you usually spend your holiday? Well, we always go to Michigan, where my mom is, and that's just been the tradition forever since I moved out of Michigan. I always go back every Christmas. What is your favorite Christmas song? So I have 2. I would say It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas, which is a very old song. And then Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You, which is actually also, I guess, now considered to be an older song, but I consider it to be a modern song, I guess. But yeah, those are probably my 2 favorites, and I actually have both of those songs for ringtones on my phone because I like them so much. Okay, it says, what is your all-time favorite holiday food sweet treat? So probably sugar cutout cookies. My mom always made those, and my grandma always made them before when she was alive, and so I like making those and cutting them out and decorating them. Be honest. Do you like giving gifts or receiving gifts better? Probably giving gifts. I like seeing people's reaction to the gift that you gave them. If it's something thoughtful that you picked out, when they when they get the gift and they really like it, I do like that. What is your favorite thing about Christmas? Probably just being together with family and getting to eat lots of sweet treats. When do you start getting excited for Christmas? Well, I'd say I start decorating for Christmas the beginning of, well, I say the middle of November. But getting excited probably doesn't happen till about a week before, just because there seems like there's a very long build up to it. And so probably not till a week or so before. So the next question is, what is the best Christmas gift you've ever received? So I got a lot of gifts when I was a kid that I really loved. I got a strawberry shortcake house that I remember. I think that was maybe first grade. I also got a video camera. I can't remember what year that would have been, but I think it was Fisher Price. It was like a PX 2000, something, I can't remember the name, something like that. And that was awesome. I was making videos of everything for a while. I probably still have them somewhere, but they're on some really weird format, because I think maybe it was actually like cassette. I can't remember, like little cassettes or something. Anyway, that was cool. I got a Game Boy one year, which was awesome. I think those are probably, from when I was a kid, those were probably the coolest ones I ever got. My husband bought me an iPad this year, so I think that was pretty much trumps everything. But well, from when I was a kid, those were probably the coolest presents I ever got. So the next one is, what is the worst present you've ever received? And I think for the most part, I didn't really get presents of things I didn't want when I was a kid. I can't really remember. The only thing that comes to mind is that we had a relative who was an aunt that we weren't really close to, but for some reason we exchanged gifts with her, and a lot of times she would just mail them, and I'm glad that we sort of stopped that after a while, because it just seemed like a futile exercise, just sort of exchanging things we didn't want, like out of obligation or something. I don't know, but she sent weird things sometimes. I remember she sent my mom like a nightie, which was the most bizarre thing to send. It's just nothing my mom would ever wear. She used to send socks, typical things. I guess that's practical, but it wasn't really anything we needed or wanted, and I'm sure she didn't want whatever we sent her either. We just didn't know her well, and like I said, it was more of an obligation. And I just don't like that part of gift giving, when you feel like you have to give someone a gift, and she felt like she had to get us a gift just because we were related. And like I said, I'm glad we don't keep up with that anymore just for the sake of doing it, because it seems like such a waste of time and money, and it's not the point of Christmas, I don't think. The next one is, as a kid, did a sibling ever receive a present that you wished was for you? And I don't really think so. I mean, my siblings and I were fairly spaced out year-wise, so there wasn't really a lot of shared interests in that regard. I do remember I had a cousin who was almost exactly my age, and she would get stuff that I wanted, like some different kind of Cabbage Patch Kids that I thought were cool, some board games I wanted. I'm trying to remember. It always seemed like they got cooler presents than we did. But I really shouldn't have complained. I mean, I got perfectly good presents. For some reason, they always seemed like they had the newer, sort of more trendy stuff than we did. But, in retrospect, we had plenty of cool stuff too. What would be your dream place to visit for the holiday season? I always thought it would be really fun to be in Disney World for Christmas. I don't know if it really would. It's probably really crowded. I was there for New Year's one year. Probably, I think it was New Year's 1993, maybe. And they still had a lot of the cool Christmas decorations up at that point, but I thought it would be really cool to be there for Christmas. And if not there, I guess my standard dream place to visit is always Hawaii. I went there for my honeymoon, which seems like a million years ago, in 2006, and I would love to go back to Hawaii. So that would always be an answer to any kind of where would you like to go question. Next question is most memorable holiday moment. And I think what I would say is, as a kid, would be the first moment when you come down. We had a 2-story house, so it came down the stairs to where the Christmas tree was, seeing all of the presents and all the candy canes hanging from the banister, all of that with the Christmas tree lights on. That moment was always like the Christmas moment for me. And I'm continuing that tradition. The first time my daughter sees all the Christmas presents on Christmas morning, that's probably my most favorite holiday moment every year. Okay, do you make New Year's resolutions and do you stick to them? I don't really anymore. I used to make resolutions and I never stuck to them. I feel like the idea of the new year bringing new opportunities and new chances to change is still something I sort of think about, making different decisions, making better choices. But in terms of specific resolutions, like to do X, Y, and Z, I don't really do that. I always try to have a goal at the beginning of each year to do better, keep the house cleaner, exercise more, eat better, be nicer, all of those things, just be a better person. And I do try to do that throughout the year, but in terms of specific goals, like I will eat no more candy or I will exercise X, Y times per week, I don't do that anymore. Okay, so the next one is what makes the holidays special for you? And I think we already kind of touched on that. Just being with family. I don't get to see my mom and my siblings that much just because we all live all over the place throughout the country. So that's nice, being able to come together. Everyone has a couple days off of work. It's nice to be able to spend that time together, even though we may drive each other a little bonkers sometimes. I think that's, the best part of the holidays. What's the best part about Christmas for you? I think I already answered that question, didn't I? My favorite part about Christmas? Yeah. So, I mean, it's all the same sort of question, sort of parsed out in a few different questions. But, yeah, being with family, eating candy, having a couple days off of work to relax is basically the best thing for me. Okay, last question. You've been granted one Christmas wish. What will it be? I guess in reality, I would say I would like a new president. If it's an actual tangible item, I mean, I guess just a bunch of cash. $1 million? I don't know. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, a whole bunch of money, be able to pay off some debt, help some people out. That would be a pretty cool wish to have granted. Yeah, so that's all of the questions. So I still have a few minutes left here as I finish the layout. So I guess I could just talk about some of these stickers. Like I said, most of them are from Alakazoo. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I think one is, from Font Bundles. I can't remember. I get a lot of free printables as much as I can so that I don't have to spend too much money on stickers for my planner. So I think that's where that one's from. This little elf guy, I actually made this myself. And this is my little elf on the shelf sticker that I made to write down each day what happens with my daughter's shelf. I mean, her elf on her shelf. Just to kind of keep track of the ideas. I do take pictures of some of the cutest ones, but for the most part, I just write down sort of what the elf did. And she knows that I'm the one that puts the elf around, so I can forget, and it's not a big deal. But I like keeping track of what I did, and for next year to, so I don't duplicate too much. Yeah, so that's a little elf that I drew on Adobe Draw. And then I just made a little rectangle to write in there. And we're leaving town on Friday, so I'm not going to be doing the elf after Friday. So that's why I'm not going to put him after that. I think the only other thing that I need is a to-do box for the week. I like to put one over here on the sidebar. I just need to crop this down because this is a full page still. But yeah, I like to have a little to-do box in the corner for the full week, and then I can put things that need to get done this week at some point, and I can add to it and check off as I go. So that's a cute little red and white candy cane one, so I think that looks perfect. And that's going to do it. That's my layout for next week. Be sure to check out the description for links to all the other women who also made a plan with me in this collab. Thank you so much for watching, and have a Merry Christmas.